You're about to make a decision. Maybe it's a major life choice, or maybe it's just what to eat for breakfast. You feel like you're the one making it, that you're freely deliberating, weighing options, and choosing. But what if everything that feels like a free choice is actually the product of cascading biological processes operating across multiple timescales, processes that were set in motion long before you were born? This is the provocative and scientifically grounded argument of Robert Sapolsky, the Stanford neuroendocrinologist and primatologist whose research into stress, hormones, and the biology of human behavior has made him one of the most compelling scientists writing today. Sapolsky's framework, articulated most fully in his 2017 book Behave, is unusual in its ambition. Most explanations of behavior focus on one level of analysis: genes, or upbringing, or culture. Sapolsky refuses to stop at any single level. He asks, what happened a second before a behavior? A minute before? A day before? A year before? A childhood before? A century of culture before? An evolutionary history before? Each layer adds causal context. Each level is real. None is the complete story. Start a second before a behavior occurs. A cluster of neurons in your frontal cortex fire. That firing is preceded by activity in your limbic system, the emotionally reactive, evolutionarily ancient brain structures. Before the limbic system activates, sensory data arrives and is processed. At every level, the behavior was already being shaped. Zoom out to hours and days before. Your hormone levels are influencing your behavior in ways you don't consciously perceive. Testosterone, the most misunderstood hormone in popular science, doesn't simply make people aggressive. It amplifies whatever behavior the social context calls for, status-maintaining behavior, which can be aggression but can equally be generosity, protection, or dominance displays that involve no violence at all. Context determines everything. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, has some of the most dramatic effects on behavior and psychology that Sapolsky has studied. Chronic stress, mediated by chronically elevated cortisol, literally changes the brain. It shrinks the hippocampus, critical for memory and learning, and enlarges the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. A chronically stressed person is working with a different brain than a secure person, less able to learn and remember, more reactive to threat, more impulsive. This is not weakness of character. It is neurobiology. Zoom out further to early development and childhood experiences. Gene expression is profoundly shaped by environment through epigenetic mechanisms. The same genes produce different outcomes depending on what experiences activate or suppress them. Adverse childhood experiences leave neurobiological signatures that alter stress response systems for years, sometimes decades. The child who grows up in a threatening environment develops a nervous system calibrated for threat, hypervigilant, reactive, primed to detect danger even where there is none. Sapolsky is particularly interested in how these biological systems interact with social context, status, and culture. His research with baboons in Kenya demonstrated that social hierarchy has profound physiological consequences. Low-ranking animals in high-stress hierarchies show elevated glucocorticoid levels, suppressed immune function, impaired cardiovascular health, and accelerated aging. In humans, socioeconomic status is one of the strongest predictors of health outcomes, and the mechanism runs directly through the biology of stress. All of this leads Sapolsky to a conclusion that many find disturbing. He believes the evidence does not support a meaningful concept of free will. Every behavior, he argues, is the inevitable product of the biology preceding it, shaped by forces the individual did not choose: genetics, hormones, development, culture, evolutionary history. There is no homunculus in the brain pulling levers freely. There is only cascading biology. But here's the crucial turn. Sapolsky argues that accepting this should not lead to fatalism or moral nihilism. It should lead to greater compassion. When we understand that the person who made a terrible decision was shaped by forces they did not choose, a traumatic childhood, a stressed nervous system, a culture of violence, we can move beyond blame and punishment toward the more effective interventions of rehabilitation, early support, and structural change. Sapolsky's biology of behavior is a humbling, illuminating, and ultimately compassionate vision of what we are. We are not angels fallen from some realm of pure freedom. We are animals shaped by biology, brilliant, complex, deeply social animals who can, with understanding, do better. Subscribe to Psychology. Theories explained for more psychology breakdowns every week.